gender activists in Abuja are rallying for equal representation across gender lines, saying that more women need to enter the political sphere to spark meaningful change. Men are also joining this movement and pushing for more of their counterparts to get involved. It's a movement that says gender-based issues must be brought into the mainstream and that men must do their part. It's also saying that women can and must hold positions of power if Nigeria wants to realize its dream of becoming a democracy. Members of the Engage, Empower, Educate initiative have been working on gender equality for years. They plan to use the upcoming FCT Council polls as a vehicle to get more women participating in politics. So how are they faring? And how are they getting more men to join the conversation? On this, Chief Executive Officer of the Engage, Empower, Educative Initiative, Belema Meschack-Hart, joins me in the studio. So good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, why is there this sudden rise in gender-based issues, especially as it relates to political matters? I know that there's been this GO bill in the National Assembly and all of that, and women are asking for more political participation. Isn't the political space open for all genders to actually,
well, like you know, the political space is open for all genders, but somehow women are still disenfranchised. It's quite a difficult task for women to get into such positions and such elective roles. That's why you see there's always been an engagement trying to get some kind of opportunities open for women specifically to get into office, because women have a whole lot to give back if given this opportunity to get into elective office.
And what has your organization been doing about that in terms of providing legal perspectives to actually having more women in government, not just talking about it, because politicians talk about it once it's close to election, and then after election, everyone just goes quiet.
Okay. In 2018, to be precise, we had our first project called The Convergence, and the idea was to bring women that want to run for elective office together and engage them and teach them and empower them on how to run for office. We brought a lot of people to speak to them, we brought a lot of people to get them pepped up for the attacks ahead, and even women that had contested before to come and explain their challenges, what they went through and how they went through. But sad to say that after that time, the activities of women in elective office dropped instead of increased. And so we went back as a non-profit and said, okay, how can we re-strategize to get this better? And we came up with a project we called the Pink Vote Movement. And the idea is to get more women into politics and to also get more women to vote in elections. And our pilot project is called the Pink Debate. And this Pink Debate is saying, okay, wait. Women play a major role in elections. Actually, women form 47% of registered voters. Women,
based on INEC figures.
This is from INEC's database. Women play a major role. You want women to vote for you, they come out, and women can be very loyal. They come out, they vote for you, then after elections, you totally discard them and discard issues that concerns them. And we're saying this has to change. So what we're doing with the Pink Debate is that we're saying, okay, if you want to run for office, if you're a political office holder, man or woman, what will you do for women when you get to office? Because we're saying, okay, them getting actively involved in politics is not really as much result. Let's whether the men that get into office that would win elections. Now, what can you do for women? We organize a debate. They come and tell us their commitment. It's a strictly gender-based debate. We had the first one for the AMA Council elections, and they came and they told us what they would do for women. So we are watching. The women will go out en masse and vote. Everybody will go and vote. Anybody that wins the election will come back and now begin to demand based on the promises you made. And we've looked at 22 issues around women. We are asking them.
What are those specific issues?
Okay. We are asking them, when women get into office, is there an affirmation for women when they get into office? I mean, do you want to say, okay, 40% of my women will be given positions when I get to office? We're looking at gender-based violence. What do you plan to do with regards to gender-based violence?
Aren't you looking at the economy? I mean, because there's this saying that once you bring one woman out of poverty, there's a tendency that, the prosperity will be shared to a lot of people.
Yes, and that's why we said there are 22 issues. We are getting to empowerment of the woman. Because you see, when you empower a woman, you empower a nation. I mean, it's real. When you empower your money, you empower a nation. So we're asking them before you get into office, what are you going to do for women when you get to office? How do you plan to empower them? In agriculture, what do you plan to do for them? Girl child education, are you going to send girls to school for free? What will you do for them? WASH, what are you going to do for them around the issues that concern them? So we have listed 22 of these issues, and we speak to these candidates. And you know what we've noticed? That even candidates that did not have an agenda for women or girl child, because we are asking them, they will now go back, research, study, and work around those issues, and we'll hold them accountable to them.
And the challenge actually is also for women to believe in themselves. A lot of women who come out to contest for political positions ride on the wave of, okay, send me to public office, I'll be able to advance women issues, and they get there and actually forget the women issues. How do you address those kind of issues?
That's why we are here called the Pink Debate. One of our major tasks is accountability, follow-up. And we've partnered with Code, and Code, they're popular for follow the money. They've put in structures to follow up things and events and people. So we're saying after the election, whoever wins, we are not partisan, we don't really care, but whoever wins, for instance, you come and you say you want to give people with disabilities appointments in your government, or you want to ensure that buildings are accessible in your local government after office for people living with disabilities, we will come after the election and we will ask you, we'll say, okay, this is what you said. And it's going to be in the public domain. We are going to hold you accountable to what you have said. So it's not a matter of you come and make promises and you go. Nobody is
elected officials have to present a scorecard.
Yes.
Based on these issues.
Yes, based on the issues they said they would handle. And would monitor them from while they are in office. And we will present this.
Now let's talk about these local council polls in Abuja here. I mean, what's the vibe been like? How are lots of voters getting prepared? How are the candidates actually receiving your message too?
Okay. This question makes me quite sad because we went to the streets and found out that majority of the people in Abuja don't even know that there are council elections coming up.
Yeah, within the city center. Though in rural communities, I mean, you see lots of politicians going there.
Maybe
because the votes are more.
Yes, they go to interior villages because maybe that's where they can influence the votes or whatever. I really don't know. But
or there are more voters in that place.
Really, we have INEC statistics. There are really not more voters there. Do you know we have over 600,000 registered voters in Amak alone?
Yeah, Abuja Municipal Area
yes.
Council.
Guess what? In the last elections, less than 100,000 of them came out to vote. So there's already apathy in the system, right? And people are not aware. And it's challenging knowing that Amak, with all the people we have in Amak, you have professors, you have doctors, they're not aware. People don't even know that in the coming Amak election, we have 14 candidates. People don't know that in those 14 candidates, one is a woman. They don't know. So that's what the Pink Debate also has done to create awareness, because the debate was streamed live, right? And people could listen in and hear the candidates and say the candidates for themselves. And not the candidates.
Maybe the elections are too localized. That's why a lot of people with the Abuja City Center are not taking lots of interest. Now, let's talk about good governance. How do you think that those who had previously been in power in these local councils have been able to project the ability to provide good governance for residents, which will warrant the residents who actually want to pick an interest to elect new leaders?
You see, and that's where the challenge is. I don't think anybody listened, because like you said correctly, these guys, they go into where it's the interior villages. These people can't hold them accountable for anything, right? So these guys have been living like this, and we're saying, no, it has to stop. You have to be accountable. You have to let us know what you would do, and we'll follow up on those things. If prior to now, nobody has been following up, right? People don't even know who the AMAC chairman, the current AMAC chairman is. How many people know?
And that's to say that it's only one that you're talking about. There are still 5 other local government chairmen in the Federal Capital Territory.
Because what we did for Abuja, for the Pink Debate, is a pilot project, and we are focusing on AMAC. It's a project, and we're focusing on AMAC because we want to show that if you focus on these people and you go through the process, you create awareness, you get them to come and say what they would do, you can hold them accountable at the end of the day.
And what are the women actually saying about this initiative that you've put in place to actually bring them closer to the grassroots?
They're excited. We went to the market.
The grassroots?
We went to the market. The market women that are voting, they were so excited. In short, most of the market women listened into the debates because truth. They want to know these people that are representing them. They want to hear from them. They want to know what they will do for them. They're tired of they come and vote for me and 1,000 naira and go back. They're really tired. They want to know, okay, this guy, if he comes, what will he do for my market? Will he come and throw me out of the market? Or will he empower me more in this marketplace? Does he have any empowerment scheme in place? They want to know. People are asking more questions this time around. We went to the marketplace around AMAC. The market women were so excited. They welcomed us, and we're still going now because elections are coming up this weekend. So we have a huge advocacy campaign. We are telling people, come out and vote. Okay, you want to know these candidates. Many people don't even know where their polling units are. So we've gotten the polling units, we've gotten all the candidates, and it's on our website. If you go to our website, our amac.coop Africa with a K.org, you will see the 14 candidates. You will see their qualifications, you will see their deputy, you will see their age, you will see everything you need to know about them. And we're also populating it with what they have said they will do for a woman and a girl child. Then if you want to know your polling unit, just go to the website, amac.coopafrica.org. You're going to also see where the nearest polling unit is to you to go and vote. Very important.
Very interesting submission. Indeed. Well, you just have to hold on there while we go on this short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. You're still watching the Arise interview. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Sumner Sambo. While the organization Engage, Empower, Educate initiative believes that a mass mobilization of women into the political sphere will bring more representation to a marginalized population and much needed social change for all. But is this just an aspirational pursuit, or is this goal realistic in a country where women often do not hold positions of power? So what stride has this organization made in realizing its dream of more women in the political arena, and what lessons can they share with everyday Nigerians interested in joining the movement for gender rights? Let's bring back Belema Meschack-Hart to talk more about the work he and his organization are doing for gender justice in Nigeria. And I'll put it to you that a lot of persons will be surprised that you are a man canvassing for women issues and all of that, trying to see that more women, get into the political space. Haven't you been asked those questions yourself?
Yes, I have, and good to know that even the National Council of Women's Societies has recognized my efforts, and they've made me the ambassador as a he for she ambassador. So right now I sit in on their meetings as a man in the women's meetings because over the years, through my non-profit, we've been able to empower women across Nigeria and indeed across Africa. We've been able to push for their empowerment, which is very critical, even the girl child.
Yeah,
so
but it also boils down to the questions lots of people will keep asking, why women don't like supporting themselves. A few women get into power, look at the federal cabinet now, you have a sprinkle of women, as a lot of politicians will say, but when they get in there, they don't lift other women to be able to put them into strategic positions. And you hear some women saying that they still prefer to work with men rather than fellow women because it's much more difficult working with fellow women.
And you see, that's why we are working on this strategy. If you look at a typical country called Rwanda, I just returned from Rwanda, most government agencies are run by women. This was not done by a woman. This was done by a male president. Most of the, about 40% representation in their National Assembly are women. It was because there are laws in place that insist women must have this quota. So let's leave the issue of whether women like women or not. Let's focus on men or those in authority and say, okay, what will you do? What laws will you put in place?
Yeah, that's what there's been this Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, the GEO bill, the National Assembly, which has been, it's been played over like a ball, by federal lawmakers. There's been lots of compromise. They are unable to reach a lot of consensus on several issues, including women issues, especially from the northern part of the country. What has your organization been doing to ensure that there's a national consensus around that bill to protect more women in the country?
Let's see, and this is a perfect example. Just let's look at the scenario. Before the presidential elections, there's a pink debate. And at the pink debate, we'll ask this particular question and get commitments from the political aspirants saying that when we get to office, we will ensure we do this. And they now win the election and get into office, we will come back with that demand. You see, because nobody made a demand, because there was no accountability in the first place, nobody told them that this was a part of their manifesto. When they get into office, they can choose to do whatever they want to do because it was not there in the first place. You're bringing, okay, we'll look at it, we'll work on it. We don't want that kind of rulership again. We are saying before you get to office, will you do this? And when you say you will do it, we will put it to you when you get to office. And it becomes an issue of trust. So are you going to keep to your words? You said this. We have video evidence. We have audio evidence. We have written evidence. It's on our website for everybody to see. You said you would do. You said when you get to office, 40% of your cabinet will be women. So it's not an assumption. When you get to office, is your cabinet now, do they have 40% representation? Yes or no? If it's no, what are you doing to make it 40%? You said so. So we're going to hold people to their words. But because we didn't have that before this elections, we really cannot do much.
Yeah,
yes,
so I would just like to find out how you're actually doing that right now at the local council polls, which are scheduled for Saturday. How will you be able to get some of these candidates to ensure that they get backing from women, and then when they get into power, they do not actually disappoint the women?
Yeah. We've done the pink debates for AMAC. We had representation. The party chairmen were there present at the pink debate. They have made commitments. We have documented it. Those that are contesting, for the chairmanship position. They've made commitment, documented it. Those that were not there at the debate, we've met them one-on-one. We asked them want to record it. They said, yes, you can go ahead and record it. We've asked them, they've made commitments. We have recorded it and kept it. We are putting it on our platform, and we're telling the women when we are going out for advocacy, see what this one said he would do. One particular AMAC candidate said he will ensure that his office is dominated by women, even more than men.
And if they violate that, if the person gets into office, what will you do?
Okay,
what will the penalty actually be like?
We are not the law courts, right? But you see, most people that are going for elections going based on trust. Are you getting me? So if you go there and you change your mouth, that means you've defeated our trust in you. You can't come and meet us again for anything. We'll show you that you said this and you went and you didn't do it.
Now let's talk about how a lot of women need to be protected in the society that we're in. We've seen lots of violence against women, especially on election day when women come out to come and vote, because some people feel that they are weaker. There's a lot of electoral violence that comes into place, and then they scatter the female voters, and then before you know it, there's a big challenge. How do you think that more women voters can be protected on election day when they are going out to go and exercise their franchise, to ensure that violence, does not disrupt them from fulfilling their, constitutional responsibilities?
We want to appreciate INEC with all the plans it has put in place. Part of what we also do is to observe during these elections to see where there are flaws as regards to what we have said, and also recommend back to INEC. We also want to thank the police officers and the security agencies for working hard. It's a difficult terrain, if you have to be sincere. It's a very difficult terrain, and they are doing their best to ensure that this gender, they are doing their best to ensure everybody is protected. And we know that the women also need a lot more protection. So they're doing a lot of work around that. I want to appreciate them. But like we said, it's a continuous process. We are watching, we will observe, and we'll also recommend to ensure that gradually we'll get to a point where people can easily come out to vote and know that their lives and property are secured.
And a lot of Nigerians will want to wonder why you are also focusing on just one local government for now. The criticism would definitely be that you are unable to reach other parts of the Federal Capital Territory because there are 6 local governments here, local council, area councils, and then you're doing only one. Are you thinking of cascading this to other states apart from the Federal Capital?
Okay, like I said in the beginning, this is a pilot project. And because we want to measure our results, we have to pick a local government so that we can measure from the beginning. So that's to say you're actually going to cascade it to these other remaining 5 local councils? Not for this particular election. For this local council election, it's just AMAC we are focusing on, right? And would hold them responsible. But going forward, we will cascade it to states, national and presidential elections because they cover a majority of the people. And what are you doing about that? Because the political primaries are already coming closer. How do you foresee a huge number of women coming out for political positions in 2023? We are going on. The pink debate is a baby under the pink vote movement, like I said earlier on. So we already have a strategy. We have a working document and a strategy for ensuring that we get at least 10 million more women vote in the upcoming elections. We have that strategy close to our chest. We will reveal it once we are done monitoring this election and monitoring our output after the elections. And wouldn't you be accused of being a city-based advocacy group? You're not going to the rural areas. I'd like to know how many rural communities you're actually reaching. For AMAC, we reached all the communities. We had volunteers, right, that went to all the communities. I thought we went to market women in all the communities in AMAC. Went to market women, and we are not done. Once we leave here, we are continuing the advocacy. right? We're also going, because the truth is that definitely human reach cannot get everywhere. So we're also working with TV stations like yours. We're partnering with TV stations like yours. We're partnering with radio stations that have a massive reach, and we're doing advocacy campaigns to the elections, and we're calling on people come out.
How about the urban-based voters who are mostly on social media most times, talking about elections, but on election day you hardly see them on the field.
Beautiful. That's why we're actually focusing on people on the ground. Where those people on social media, thank you very much. We have a social media campaign that is targeted at them, but our target is actually the market women. Right, the people that come out on the day to vote, the people that have voters card to vote.
Yeah, and
right?
I was interested in actually knowing how many people have been, showing interest in voting with their voters card.
You see, a lot of I kid you not, a lot of market women are so interested in the upcoming elections, and those that are trying to be cool, say no, come out and vote. Choose any candidate and vote for the person. Okay, you don't know the candidates, come see the candidates. We have a list of INEC. INEC has released all the candidates for the election. So these are the list of the candidates. Go for whichever one you want. If you want to know what they will do for the woman and the girl child, this is what they have committed to do for you when they get into office. A, B, and C have made the commitment. We are yet to get the commitment from D, E, and F. But these are the people that have made the commitment for you when they get to office. And like I said earlier, it is staggering that with over 600 registered voters in AMAC, you have an election and less than 100,000 people come out and vote. That has to change. And that's part of why we are doing advocacy. We are going around and saying, AMAC residents, you have a registered voter card. Come out this. Many people don't even know elections are this Saturday. People are asking me, oh, can we move on Saturday? I said, you can't move, it's election day. Are you getting me? They don't know.
Well, because the elections in the Federal Capital Territory are usually different from that of other states.
Yes, and it's going by INEC.
We must thank you so much, Belema Meschack-Hart, Chief Executive Officer of Engage, Empower, Educate Initiative, for joining us to talk about this advocacy on how to uplift women across the nation.